moment with matching concert t-shirts.
That's going to be $180.
Or we can just take a photo.
C, show her how you used to do concerts.
We're going crowd surfing!
I can't! It's too heavy! Oh my god! Ah.
Or D, just roll with it.
Woo! Justin! Look at us! We're over here!
Justin! OMG! He just looked... I love you, Justin! I love you!
When it comes to
A medical facility after the truck that he was in collided with a moving train. Dana White said that Hughes is dealing with head trauma from said accident. Moving on over to the National Football League, Jags quarterback Jalen Ramsey underwent surgery to repair a core muscle injury that happened during minicamp. Ramsey will need 6 weeks to recover from it. I'm David Gascon.
We are Fox Sports!
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set!
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Columbia. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back at it once again here. 316 Greystone Boulevard. Fast-paced, action-packed. Hurry up and no-huddle sports talk programming for you. Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands. Heard around the world on the iHeart radio application. Download it today. It is free. The Clemson Sports Talk app for iPhone and Android devices also free. No Lull the intern, potentially going to be joined by executive producer Rob Sanders coming up in just a little bit. We'll see if Rob makes it in here to the show that shakes the Southland. Happy Friday. Oh, yeah, the weekend is almost here. Lots of fun. Going to sit down this weekend, I'm sure, with my son and daughter. Have a good time. Spent a lot of time with them over the past couple of weeks, and really enjoying the opportunity to spend more time with them as I get to during the summer. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Again, that's the number. You can text us thanks to our good friends at the Ocean Reef Resort. The text line, 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086, and also broadcasting live over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Coming up on the program tonight, the Tennessee Rifleman, Terrence Oglesby, going to join us at 7 o'clock this evening. You talk about a guy that could knock him down from way downtown. Holy cow. We'll catch up with T.O. and see what he's got to say. We'll find out a little bit more about his decision to leave Clemson early after just 2 years with plenty of eligibility remaining, his thoughts on playing basketball professionally overseas, and ultimately now his return to Tiger Town. And, of course, all of our guests join us via the DNC Trucking and Transport guest line. Terrence Oglesby will do that coming up in about an hour. 803 again, 978-1832. We begin today, though, with the news out of Tiger Town. Monty Lee met with members of the media earlier today to address and recap the 2016-2017 college baseball season. He also talked about several of the guys who were drafted. Of course, Clemson was fourth in terms of the number of players drafted into the major leagues. Clemson had 9 guys that were drafted. That was only behind 3 other schools who each had 11 players drafted. Monty Lee did say, though, that out of all the draft-eligible guys, that Chris Williams will certainly return. And then you had a situation also for the Clemson Tigers with, and I don't know why my brain's just gone one direction, but ultimately, Eubanks is going to leave. That was the other one that came out earlier today that I had forgotten about a little bit earlier. But, so just some of the things that Monty Lee had to say. He said he was not contacted by South Carolina, and he was not interested in coming to Columbia, that he would be the head coach at Clemson for as long as Clemson Tiger fans would want him. So lots of information coming out today from Monty Lee. And again, this Clemson Tiger baseball team with a core of Seth Beer and Logan Davidson returning in 2017 will absolutely be a very, very good team at the plate. You know that. And then there was also the possibility, as we mentioned even before this season, that you could see Seth Beer even potentially moving and playing a little bit more first base for Monty Lee. But one of the things he said that I found quite interesting was he basically said, look, he's not going to watch the NCAA tournament. He's not going to watch the College World Series if Clemson's not in it. I thought that was kind of unique because, again, I assumed, and wrongfully, that college baseball coaches would absolutely be interested in watching their sports championship. Lee said, I have no interest in watching the College World Series. If we aren't playing, I don't want to watch it. I'd rather be recruiting. I think Clemson Tiger fans, if you were disappointed in the season and you would have liked to have seen Clemson playing out in Omaha, at least I think you probably will agree that Monty Lee's got the same attitude that a lot of you do as well. Well, if the Tigers aren't in it, I'm not interested. Monty Lee says, I have no interest in watching the College World Series. If we aren't playing, I don't want to watch it. So that's what Monty Lee had to say earlier today, just some of the stuff that Monty Lee got into. And again, I had a chance to listen to my good friend Jamie Bradford down on the radio in Charleston earlier today, and actually had the chance to be on with him earlier today. And Monty Lee came on about 30 minutes after I got off the air in the big city of Chucktown. And Monty Lee reiterated some of the points that I had made about this Clemson Tiger baseball team in terms of the decisions that had to be made by several of these individuals, including Reed Rollman, and what they're going to do just simply in terms of having to look at the financial difficulties of returning to school and having to pay for another year's worth of education. In some respects, you get a little bit of a scholarship, but it's not a full scholarship. And because of that fact, if you're a draft eligible junior and you've got a chance to go make a little money and even potentially, as Monty Lee mentioned to Jamie Bradford, and I don't really understand enough about this, but that the professional baseball teams will actually pay for your education for a year. They'll go ahead and make sure that you do get graduated, I guess, or they'll go ahead and pick up the tab for you, and then you wouldn't be eligible to play, I assume, for the college team is how I understand it would work. But so it looks like Reed Rollman's career will come to an end at Clemson as well, simply because of the fact that he doesn't stand to benefit a whole lot from coming back. And because of that, many scouts saw him as a senior who didn't have a whole lot of opportunity, even though he wasn't. And that was the reason that he was drafted a little bit low. So that's some of the situation and some of the conversation that Monty Lee had with members of the media earlier today. But his takeaway that he wasn't interested in the College World Series was an interesting one, I thought. But here's a rundown of what the College World Series out in Omaha will look like. Again, things get underway tomorrow. Game 1, Oregon State takes on Cal State Fullerton at 2 p.m. on ESPN. And Game 2 tomorrow is LSU and Florida State at 7 o'clock, also on ESPN. Now, you think about Florida State and Coach Mike Martin never winning a national championship, and he's at Florida State earlier this year, having a season that looked like the Seminoles were in a lot of trouble. It even looked like at some points along the way that they weren't going to be eligible for the postseason. I mean, they had started off fairly poorly, even when Clemson arrived to go take them on in Tallahassee. That was kind of where they were. It was like, boy, if Clemson comes in here, and Clemson was hot at the time, if Clemson comes in and finds a way to sweep Florida State, if Clemson comes in and finds a way to look dominant with Coach Mike Martin's team there, I think you absolutely would have to say to yourself, wow, that's concerning about Mike Martin's future. But the Tigers didn't. and Florida State won that series. And since that time, Florida State's been one of the hotter teams in college baseball. They managed to maneuver their way through a regional and a super regional, and now they're in it. And they take on LSU again, 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. Games 3 and 4 Sunday will feature Louisville taking on Texas A&M. That's a 1 o'clock start on ESPN. And then Florida versus TCU at 6 p.m. on ESPN2 tomorrow or Sunday evening. Again, 6 p.m. Florida taking on TCU. Game 5 and 6 will be on Monday. And again, I can't tell you who those teams are because we don't know the results of the first 4 games. Games 7 and 8 on Tuesday. That means game 9 will be Wednesday. Game 10 will be Thursday. And then you'll dive into the finals of that series between the two teams in the 2 brackets, the ones that come away with it. So there you go. Oregon State, Cal State Fullerton tomorrow at 2, LSU, FSU at 7, both of those on ESPN. Then on Sunday at 1, you get Louisville versus Texas A&M and Florida versus TCU at 6 p.m. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. The Atlantic Coast Conference extends its streak going back 11 years to having a team represent the conference out in Omaha. In 2006, how about this? The Atlantic Coast Conference, to kick this streak off, had 4 teams: Clemson, Georgia Tech, Miami, and North Carolina. And since that time, the Atlantic Coast Conference has had at least one team in the NCAA tournament or in the NCAA championships out in Omaha. But most of the time, outside of a couple of years, this conference has put multiple teams in, including this year with Florida State and Louisville. Other years where they put 2 teams in, back in 2015 with Virginia and Miami, in 2013 with NC State and North Carolina, in 2011 North Carolina and Virginia, Clemson and Florida State in 2010, North Carolina and Virginia in 2009, and in 2008, 3 teams with Florida State, Miami, and North Carolina. So only in 2007, 2012, 2014, and 2016 has the ACC not managed to put more than one team in to the College World Series. 75 Atlantic Coast Conference players were selected in the 2017 MLB draft. That is the most in ACC history, topping the previous record of 65 back in 2014. The 75 players selected also tied for the most from any conference in the country. 6 Atlantic Coast Conference players were picked in the first round and the first competitive balance round, extending a streak of 26 years with at least one first-round pick from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Of the 30 Major League teams, 27 drafted at least one player from an ACC team led by the Angels, Marlins, Yankees, and Rays, who picked 5 Atlantic Coast Conference players apiece. Now, the other side of this coin for Clemson and for Tiger fans, when you look at that situation, is you have to recognize just how talent-rich this conference is right now in college baseball. We've known for a long time, living here in the Palmetto State, just how fine the baseball could be. Look no further than the South Carolina Gamecocks, who won back-to-back national championships, and then, of course, Coastal Carolina, who won the championship last year. But between Clemson and South Carolina, through the past 10, 15, 20 years, it has been the best college baseball rivalry in all of America. And being situated where these two teams are in the 2 conferences in which they play, in the ACC and the SEC, the baseball is absolutely phenomenal. And again, you can't talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference putting a couple of teams in to the College World Series without mentioning the fact that you've got Florida and LSU also there, and Texas A&M also there from the SEC. So the SEC with 3 teams in this year into the College World Series. 803-978-1832. Again, Monty Lee sending, I guess you would say, a little bit of empathy towards Chad Holbrook after he resigned from the head coaching position here in Columbia. But Monty Lee saying that he and Ray Tanner have not been in contact about the opening here in Columbia. He says Ray Tanner is a good friend of mine. Ray Tanner is somebody I have a tremendous amount of respect for. I talk to Ray from time to time, and we'll call each other just to check in with each other to see how each other is doing. He has not called me about the job at South Carolina. I'm very happy at Clemson. I don't anticipate going anywhere anytime soon. If Clemson is going to have me as the head coach, then this is where I want to be. So, no, he has not reached out to me about the South Carolina job. He says Ray is somebody I respect, and I'm sure they will find the right guy, whoever that is. He is one of the best in the business and someone I respect an awful lot and have a friendship with. Now, of course, Monty Lee and former South Carolina head coach Chad Holbrook's careers here in Columbia did not overlap. As a matter of fact, when Monty Lee left South Carolina to go take the head coaching job at the College of Charleston, that was, I believe, the same year when Ray Tanner reached out and brought in Chad Holbrook. So not quite an overlap between these two, but certainly a connection between these two through South Carolina athletic director Ray Tanner, who did an incredible job here in Columbia, building the Gamecocks up to a national power in which they brought home back-to-back national championships and actually played for a third. But in terms of the Clemson Tigers head coach, Monty Lee, not interested in Columbia and not interested in the College World Series. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number. Also coming up here on the program in hour number 2, Terrence Oglesby, former Clemson Tiger basketball sharpshooter, will step into the arena and have a little fun with us. Plus, we've got updates from Clemson's opening opponent this season, Kent State. Also, Dabo Swinney talked about being a bit pressured to make a hire. I thought this was interesting by I guess you'd say a legislator pressured him at one point to make a hire. And we'll talk about that coming up here on the program as well. Plus, we've got more on the situation up at Louisville. You'll remember yesterday the NCAA laid a fairly hefty consequence upon the Louisville basketball program, to which nobody in charge there at Louisville seems to want to be accountable for the actions of the program, including head coach Rick Pitino. Ultimately, this could cost Louisville their NCAA championship back in 2013, making them the first team to ever have to vacate a national championship in college basketball. What a story that would be if indeed the banners and rafters have to come down, if everything has to be changed. But certainly for those people in charge at Louisville, a dark day on Thursday when the news came out, but then they tried to stand up and fight it and keep their head above water. And I think most of the country, including many of the members of the media there on the beat in Louisville, were almost ashamed that this university just wouldn't wash their hands of this issue by saying, you know what, it happened, we regret it, Coach Pitino didn't know about it, we're going to move forward. Instead, they continue to stick their head in the sand, and that's caught the ire of more and more people, not just locally but nationally, and has a lot of people, saying to themselves that ultimately there should have been more consequences for a guy like Rick Pitino. And a lot of people feel like, you know what, finally Rick Pitino got caught. And I understand that. Rick Pitino's always kind of had a little bit of an air of confidence or arrogance about him. He's always seemed to just be swimming right there, teetering on the brink of being an individual who I had a lot of questions about, I would say. And although I think my mindset changed a little bit about John Calipari from watching the 30 for 30 about Coach Cal, I will say that I feel like these two guys are a lot more similar probably than many people would like to believe. And because of that fact, I think that you've got a situation now where people are looking at Rick Pitino and saying, come on, Coach, just admit it was wrong. Admit it happened. Even if you don't want to admit that you knew about it, take the consequences for the actions of your program and move forward. 803-978-1832. It is the show that shakes the Southland, weeknights right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. I'm Lawton Swan. We'll be back in 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Chill out with S&G Builder Appliances, Samsung, and Fox Sports Radio 1400. Just in time for summer, win the fridge of fridges, a Samsung 4-door Flex with Family Hub, a $4,600 value. With a Flex Zone, the bottom compartment converts from freezer to fridge if you need more space, cameras that see inside so you can check it out while you're shopping at the grocery store, plus a touchscreen to leave messages, listen to music on the iHeart Radio app, or watch TV. Register to win today at foxsportsradio1400.com, keyword Samsung.
Are you a business owner looking to add high-quality staff members? ProRecruits.net is the answer. Here's why ProRecruits.net is better than their competition. ProRecruits.net will guarantee their sales hires for 6 months, or they will replace them for free. ProRecruits.net is also locally owned and has lower pricing compared to the typical new hire contingency fees in the industry. ProRecruits.net offers a tremendous value for your recruiting dollars. Call Chris today at 704-737-9970 and let ProRecruits.net help your business grow.
Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Cottingham Family Dentistry is proud to announce the opening of their new office located at 3722 Devon Street, and they're welcoming new patients. What makes Cottingham Family Dentistry different? It's in the name, family. They will cater to your needs and the dental needs of your children. Cottingham Family Dentistry offers same-day crowns, dental implants, cosmetic dentistry, including whitening, veneers, and tooth-colored fillings, and many other dental services. If you're searching for an amazing dental home, call 776-4234 or stop by their new office at 3722 Devon Street and become a part of the family at Cottingham Family Dentistry.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Experience not only our pools, hot tubs, and lazy river, but also our delicious on-site banana boat lounge and cafe, family game room, fitness center, banquet facilities, and much more. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
It is the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan, and he must have heard me talking about him because he's in studio with us, executive producer Rob Sanders. Rob, what's going on, buddy?
I'm just sitting here sporting my limited edition Clemson Sports Talk brand new championship T-shirt, which, of course, you can get yourself. You have to go online and become a supporter of the show.
That's right.
But you can have one of these awesome T-shirts.
You know what? I think I'm going to have to go on Instagram here and actually take a picture of you standing in studio. By the way, you can follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Rob, I know before the show I mentioned to you a topic, and I could tell you got fired up about it, and that was Monty Lee was asked about the College World Series and whether or not he would be watching. He said, if we're not in it, I'm not watching. There are a couple of games scheduled for tomorrow,
Absolutely.
a couple of games scheduled for Sunday. You've got to believe that college baseball coaches are some of the biggest supporters of their own game. I thought that Monty Lee said, if we're not in it, we don't want to be a part of it. Your thoughts when you first heard that news?
I was on fire. I was like, that's right, Coach. We're not there. We don't need to be watching it. We earn the right to get there, and then we can watch it. See, I'm the same way. I'm not going to watch the College World Series. Clemson's not there. I have no desire to watch it. Same thing goes for regular baseball. You know, I'm a huge Braves fan. Love the Atlanta Braves. If they're not in the playoffs, I don't watch the playoffs. Baseball season ends for me on now September the 30th because my Braves are just awful.
So you don't – okay, so I learned at a very young age. You know I'm not a big baseball fan. You understand that about me, professional or even collegiate. I like college baseball better than Major League Baseball. But I learned pretty early on, okay, I'm going to have a team in the National League and I'm going to have a team in the American League.
Right.
Simply because of the fact that I wanted to be able to watch the Braves if they were successful, but also follow the Red Sox if they were successful.
Now, why are you following the Red Sox? You've never really explained that to me. Why would you follow the Boston Red Sox?
Well, my family.
I mean, you are from Barnwell.
Yes.
I mean, Barnwell is like South Carolina country.
Yes.
I mean, it is Braves country. It has to be.
My
But you're a Red Sox fan. I don't get that at all.
My 14th generation grandmother came over on the Mayflower, Mary Chilton.
Are we being serious here?
Yeah, we're being very serious.
Okay.
The first lady to step off the Mayflower.
Okay.
And so I have ties back to the Boston area from a lady named Rose Trott Lindsay, who made her way down to South Carolina in the mid to late 1700s.
Okay.
So
all
I've embraced.
That's great, but they weren't Red Sox fans coming off the boat. You didn't get off on Plymouth Rock and they hand you a Red Sox hat. I don't know. I don't get that, brother.
Yeah, well, I had to pick a team in the American League, and and I'll be honest with you, I wanted a team that wasn't traditionally good. I wanted a team that I could root for. I'll be honest. If the Braves didn't exist, I would have been a Cubs fan too. I always want to be a fan of the team that's got to kind of overcome the hurdles, even though I've been a front runner in basketball because really at the time when you and I were growing up in terms of the NBA, the only thing really on TV were the playoffs. I mean, there were a couple of games here and there, but it wasn't like it is today.
And see, I'm completely different. I'm completely different with the NBA. I watch the NBA playoffs. In fact, I watch more of the playoffs than I do the regular season. Even though I love Phoenix. Phoenix was my team because they had little Kevin Johnson on the team, and he was dunking on the Admiral, etc. And ever since then, they were just my favorite team. But now, I mean, I guess you could call. I mean, I love Phoenix, but I guess you could say I kind of like the Hornets too. But it's tough to watch.
Can I ask you this about the Hornets real quick?
Yeah.
Did you like the Hornets when they were the Bobcats, or did you only start liking them when they changed the name back? Because I never could kind of, I don't want to say fall in love, but really pull for the Bobcats. It just didn't. I felt like my team got taken away from me.
I didn't really get on board with the Bobcats. I always thought they were the Hornets. In fact, I just referred to them as the Hornets. They were the artists formerly known as the Hornets, and then eventually
right.
They'll get back to being the Hornets.
At some point along the way. Do you think that the Hornets will ever deliver some sort of good playoff run for the folks in this area?
I think that every team in the NBA is one major draft pick away from being, great. I mean, you remember back when LeBron James went to Cleveland, okay? His first set.
Yeah.
The year before, they were like, 9-73. I mean, just some awful number. And then I think they were close to making the playoffs the next year. The year after that, they were in the playoffs and making their way through series, etc. So I think every NBA team has the potential to do that. I do like Charlotte's coaching. I like Kemba Walker a lot. He's a little fella that just runs around, shoots threes, hits people. I kind of like that. But
can we admit here on the air that your interest in NBA basketball
is kind of bad?
No, it's skyrocketed, especially since you got involved in this little thing you play on your phone all the time. You tell me about your lineups and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. But no, it was more. I've always been into NBA hoops. I liked Muggsy Bogues, and I liked. I was really big into Charles Barkley, and then of course Michael Jordan. I was even big into like Denver when they had like Robert Pack and Dikembe Mutombo, and they took out the
Supersonics,
and Kemp and all those guys,
yeah,
and they just
beat the Supersonics.
Yeah, they were like the first 8 seed to win it over a 1 seed, and they took them out, and it was just awesome. But I was big into it then. It's just the NBA has always just been like one of my favorite things. So
I think one of the reasons that people my age and your age perhaps like the NBA maybe more than, I don't want to say the casual fan, is because NBA Jam came out when we were kids. Yeah. The Lakers versus Celtics franchise came out when we were kids. And there were a lot of really good video games that draw you into the players, whereas even on a professional football game like John Madden or the Joe Montana series, you don't see the faces of the guys. Even when I played NBA, I remember playing NBA Live 95.
Yeah.
Like it was going out of style. Yeah. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. And that drew me into these teams. It drew me into the players. I knew the supporting cast, like you just mentioned, some of the guys that were coming off the bench. And in football, I don't know that video games ever gave me kind of that look. I think baseball games did sometimes because you at least knew the lineups and you were making the trades and stuff. But ultimately, I think there's so many guys our age, like 40, let's say 45 to 35, that still like the NBA because the best games for simulation and playing against your buddies growing up were probably the NBA Live series. They were as good as anything.
That. Yeah, I miss NCAA football. I know you and I both used to play that. I want to hang out with you next time because I want to talk. I was thinking about some football stuff. I thought I'd go over with you too, but yeah, the NCAA football thing. I really miss that, and I'd like to thank the idiots who ruined that for us.
Ah, man, what a pain not having that one. As a matter of fact, when I get home tonight from the show, my son, who has just recently started playing it, we have the Orange Bowl matchup between the Clemson Tigers and the Penn State, the top 5 rated Penn State Nittany Lions. So we're trying to bring home a big bowl victory here.
So do you run the offense or you let your son do it?
I call the plays.
Oh, and then he runs the plays.
He's the running back.
Oh, okay. So he does all the juking and everything else.
Yes, I do most of the handing off. He's hesitant to run the option because we got beat one time because I pitched the ball and we fumbled and Auburn returned it. And so he likes to be a wideout on any option plays. But he's learning the game, and that's what's important.
That's very good.
Rob Sanders with us for another segment when we get back here on Clemson Sports Talk on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and on the iHeart Radio app. And don't forget, coming up at 7 o'clock, the Tennessee Rifleman, Terrence Oglesby, right here on the show that shakes the Southland.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
When summer is sizzling hot, you need something cool to hit the spot. Stop by your local Circle K, where a 69-cent Polar Pop Cup will save the day. The 69-cent any-size Polar Pop Cup, only at Circle K. Take it easy.
Columbia Office Furniture is the destination for quality new or used office furniture. Preview thousands of new quick-ship desks, chairs, workstations, file cabinets, bookcases, conference room furniture, and more at cofsc.com. Then visit our 12,000-square-foot showroom at 301 Greystone Boulevard to see, sit in, touch, and feel actual samples before you buy, or browse our huge selection of quality used office furniture. And we offer layout and design services as well as installation. Visit cofsc.com today. Columbia Office Furniture. We furnish solutions.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Tonight, the scattered storms will die off and the lows will drop to around 70 degrees. Tomorrow, again, low 90s for highs. It'll be sticky with some scattered late storms. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by South Carolina Department of Insurance.
Ray Farmer, Director of the South Carolina Department of Insurance.
Hurricane season is upon us. Help protect your family and property by being storm ready. Make an emergency plan. Prepare a home inventory and review your insurance policy. Learn more ways to be storm ready at doi.sc.gov.
You're listening to Clemson Sports Talk with my dad, Lawton Swan, on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and on the iHeart Radio app.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Carolina girls, nothing wrong with a little beach music here. Clemson Sports Talk, Fox Sports Radio 1400, also on the iHeart Radio app. And nothing wrong with the Clemson girls either. It's all good. Rob Sanders at Rob Sounds Good hanging out with us here on the program. Rob, you said you wanted to talk a little college football.
Right. I had a couple of things that I've been looking at Carolina and Clemson season. I know it's way early. We're like in June. By the way, I do love the beach music coming in and out.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now,
I think that helps. I think for people, I'm going to be honest. I think for people who cannot wait for college football season to get here, it gives them something to pass the days in the summer. They go, oh, the beach music's here, and they know when that goes away, it's football season.
Okay, well, listen, the beach music is really great, but when Lowell the intern is here and I hear the beach music and he starts talking, I automatically flip to my iTunes and listen to Chairman of the Board. So Lowell the intern makes me listen to Chairman of the Board.
Okay, well, there you go. All right, so what's on your mind here? You say you want to talk a little bit about schedules. Listen, I purposely didn't ask you what you wanted to talk about during the break so we could talk about it.
Okay, well, here I was looking at Carolina's schedule and Clemson's schedule coming into next season. And I love all of my friends that are all these big Gamecock fans, etc. But if you look at their schedule, I mean, it's going to be – they've got a tough road to hoe. I think NC State, they look at it, and, of course, they give us all the same crap, oh, that's an ACC team, and they're just going to –
NC State's 7-point favorite last I checked.
Well, and of course, you'll hear the line of, hey, they're going to what does Las Vegas know? And Las Vegas never coached a football team. But here's what I do know about NC State.
Okay.
NC State finished with the the 23rd ranked defense in the country last season. They returned 9 of 11 starters, including the entire defensive line. Okay. This is the defensive line that gave the Clemson the offensive line problems, and they also rattled Deshaun Watson a good bit. That was a game that
Clemson was lucky to win that one.
They certainly were, and their defense is top notch. Now, here's what I know about South Carolina: their offensive line finished with 41 sacks given up last season. And I also know that when Jake Bentley...
About 35 of those came against Clemson, didn't they?
Well, not necessarily. But, I mean, whoever they had back there at quarterback got hit a lot. But they gave up 41 sacks on the season, and Jake Bentley gets hit a lot. And one other stat that I love to bring up, you know how many yards a game Jake Bentley gets against Power 5 conferences?
That I do not.
167 yards a game. You're not going to win very many games like that. I mean, that's just reality. So going into that game against NC State with a quarterback that throws for 167 yards a game, with an offensive line that, let's say they get better by 10% and they give up 36 sacks a year, okay, which would still put them near the bottom of the SEC, they're going to get blown out by NC State. I think NC State's going by 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
I really, really do. That's, I mean, 7 points is just absurd.
Gamecock Nation peeking over the fence cannot be excited to hear the 3 touchdown spread from Rob Sanders.
3 touchdowns. Simply because, and I think Muschamp is building over there. I really do. But I think this is a horrible matchup for South Carolina. Horrible. Really, really bad. I mean, it's the same kind of matchup they had with Clemson with the big defensive line. All those guys are going to the NFL.
Yeah.
NC State just doesn't have quite enough talent on offense to make it worse than 3 touchdowns.
You know why that game is so important for South Carolina? Because if you look at the Gamecock schedule, it's kind of like Clemson's baseball schedule this year.
Right.
It gets increasingly more difficult as the year goes on.
It does.
And if you open up, if it's a 3-touchdown loss in the opener,
right,
you know what that can do to the mentality of a team.
Well,
and you've got winnable games coming up, and if you're kind of rattled off of the jump, and then you got to go at Missouri, Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, those are winnable games. Should be. Especially if you beat NC State and you're kind of confident.
Right.
But, buddy, if you're shell-shocked coming out of NC State.
And I could be wrong. I know it's June, and everybody's going to laugh at me for saying that. But just by looking at what they have and what they have coming back and what NC State already has, and you tell me their coach up there, I mean, he was kind of on the hot seat a little bit, and you think he doesn't want to come out and just lay the smackdown on somebody to start the season, especially an SEC team? I think he needs that win more than Muschamp needs the win here to keep his job there.
Dave Doran is a really good head coach, and I mean, he's a guy that, like you said, he was on the hot seat. They gave Clemson everything they wanted. Everything they wanted. But for South Carolina, man, if they lose that game the way you think they might lose that game, the season, I mean, after those first 4 games, at A&M, Arkansas, at Tennessee, Vanderbilt is a winnable game, at Georgia, Florida, Wofford, and Clemson. That game could be a huge momentum swing for the Gamecocks out of the gate.
It certainly could. And I mean, if they come out and they get blitzed that game, I mean, it's going to be tough for Muschamp to rally the troops there. I mean, hey, we went out and we got our butts handed to us by an ACC team, which, you know, a lot of SEC fans, they kind of look down on ACC teams regardless of what happens. They're going to look down on them, whatever.
Yeah.
And you come out and drop that game, you know, you've lost a couple straight to Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's not going to come in here thinking, hey, their coach is also kind of on the hot seat as well. I mean, you got a lot of coaches that are on this schedule that are, in essence, playing for their jobs, especially with NC State, Kentucky. I would say the same thing with Vanderbilt. The Arkansas coach, he better get his stuff together. And, you know, Florida with McElwain.
Brett Bielema, sure.
Yeah, Florida with
McElwain just got a new contract today, as a matter of fact. We got that coming up in the College Sports Corner.
But, I mean, if they lose to South Carolina, that's not going to go over well there.
No.
So, I mean, the Gamecocks have a tough schedule this year. I think their team could be better this year on paper, but lose more games.
Well, I think last year's team overachieved. I had last year's team at 4-8. They finished 6-6.
Well, the Tennessee win was huge for them. I mean, picking up that game.
6-7. I forgot they lost the additional loss in the bowl.
Right,
game.
But I mean, the Tennessee game was huge for them. That's what put them over the hump. But.
Yeah, Rob, let me ask you this: we've got Terrence Oglesby coming up in hour number 2 of the program. What do you? I mean, no. What do you? You got memories? I remember the first time we met here at Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio, and you may not remember this at all, but you kind of came at me with, you know, you were a big Clemson basketball guy. I mean, that was your thing.
Hoops. Yep.
You were a Clemson basketball guy. You didn't want to talk to me about football, even though we were driving into football season. You wanted to talk Clemson basketball.
Love Clemson hoops.
So I know you've got to have some memories at least of
Probably
Terrence Oglesby.
I am upset with Oglesby because I think if he would have stayed,
yeah,
you know, we probably would have won some tournament games. Can you imagine a backcourt with Oglesby and then Stitt and I can't remember the other kid's name.
Well, you had Tanner Smith on the bench.
Tanner Smith. I mean, you have those three coming at you.
You had Andre Young.
I mean, you had some players that could really shoot the ball and do a lot. But I think especially his freshman year, he was a very self-centered player. I mean, okay, I'm past half court. I'm going to shoot the ball. I used to love to watch Booker get in his face. And literally, what are you doing, you dumb freshman? You are ruining the game for us. And, I mean, there were some serious moments there. But,
well, and I want to ask him, you know, maybe now he'll open up a little bit and talk about why he decided to leave. And maybe some of that was it. But we'll find out. He left early. But, Rob, man, good having you stick your head in here every once in a while.
I'm going to be listening on the way home. Maybe this guy will explain to us why you left.
There you go. I'll do what I can to make it an easy ride for you. Rob Sanders on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Clemson Sports Talk rolling along right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Stay with us.
Mayhem. It comes in many forms, but as a homeowner, when you see the skies darken and hear that thunder roll and you start thinking about that roof on top of your head, that's serious mayhem. That's when you need Mayhem Roofing. Hi, Gary David from Mayhem Roofing. Local roofers with a 5-star A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Hey, when mayhem strikes, you strike back with Mayhem Roofing. 855-GO-MAYHEM. That's 855-GO-MAYHEM. Get them on your side, and yeah, they'll work all the way through that insurance process with you. Mayhem Roofing, online at mayhemroofing.com. That's mayhemroofing.com.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the 2016 College Football National Champion, Clemson Tigers.
You can dance every dance with the guy who gives you the eye, let him hold you tight. You can smile every smile for the man who held your hand neath the pale moonlight. But don't forget.
Oh, yeah, Clemson Sports Talk. I don't know if I'm saving the last dance for you, but I'm saving the last segment of hour number 1 for you in preparation of having Terrence Oglesby on the show tonight. Can't wait to catch up with him. You know, we talked with Rob Sanders just a few minutes ago about Oglesby leaving the program a little bit early and 2 years early. And I look at that roster back in 2009 and who would have been there with him. You had Tanner Smith, DeMontez Stitt, Andre Young, David Potter, Brian Narcisse, Jeray Grant, Trevor Booker, Bobo Baitu, a couple other guys on the bench. You lost Casey Rivers, Raymond Sykes, and Terrence Oglesby, who left 2 years early. It would have been interesting. Would have been interesting to have the Tennessee Riflemen stay in Clemson instead of going overseas to play professionally. His father, Tony, played over in Europe as well, and Terrence was actually born in Norway, if my memory serves me correctly. But we'll catch up with him coming up here in just a few minutes on Clemson Sports Talk. 803-978-1832. I want to encourage you, if you have an Amazon Echo, to go ahead and install the free Clemson Sports Talk updates skill for your flash briefing. That is a great way for you to keep up with everything going on in Tiger Town. Perfect way, actually, for you to keep up with everything going on in Tiger Town. Now, I know the NBA is not on the tip of everybody's tongue after the Warriors eliminated the Cavaliers and the season came to a screeching halt, but things have not stopped off the court. Draymond Green, after hearing the comments from LeBron James about a super team being built with Kevin Durant moving out to Golden State, Draymond continued to go after LeBron James and basically say, look, LeBron James is the guy that started the super team. Green said, you started the super team, bro, while quoting LeBron James's statement. LeBron James disagrees that he started the super team. LeBron James says, no, I mean, in 2003, the Los Angeles Lakers brought in Karl Malone and Gary Payton, Shaq, and Kobe. And in 1996, the Houston Rockets had Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Clyde Drexler all on the same team. He said, I definitely didn't start the super team. And I will tell you, I think LeBron James is absolutely correct in that situation, because I did think and still do think that Los Angeles Laker team that he's talking about that added Malone and Gary Payton with Shaq and Kobe in 2003, that's precisely what that was supposed to be. As a Laker fan, I remember thinking, we have a super team. We have a super team. Peyton at guard, Kobe at the 2, Shaq in the middle, and the greatest power forward potentially before Tim Duncan comes along and Karl Malone. Yeah, give me more of that. mean, I thought that team was just going to obliterate the NBA. So while LeBron James did make the move to better himself, and other players have done that throughout the history of the NBA, LeBron James is not the architect of the super team, and I agree with LeBron. Now, LeBron definitely has no room to talk. LeBron has no room to talk about super teams because certainly his joining the Miami Heat with Chris Bosh, not 5, not 6, not 7, that was exactly what they thought they were building there. I think one thing that we have at least learned as fans of the NBA and as fans of sports is that as good and as dominant as you might think super teams are going to be, they haven't always worked out that way. And while the Golden State Warriors have 2 titles in the past 3 years, what is the sustainability of that success? Miami couldn't do it. The Lakers couldn't do it. The Rockets couldn't do it. The Chicago Bulls were really a team that's managed to do that better than anybody. And had Michael Jordan not left the NBA, you may have been talking about 8 straight titles for the Chicago Bulls. But even when Michael left the Bulls, they didn't fall apart. They weren't a terrible team. When LeBron left Cleveland, they were a lottery team. I mean, all of a sudden, they're the worst team in basketball. The Bulls, minus Michael Jordan, are still a playoff team. Michael Jordan comes back to a playoff team. LeBron returned to Cleveland after they had 3 number 1 picks, and I want to say they had a number 2 in there as well while he was gone. I haven't done the math, but they may have had the highest combined draft picks, or I guess that would be the lowest, the earliest combined draft picks of any team in the league while LeBron was in Miami. I don't know that to be a fact. There may have been one worse. I'm looking at you, Philadelphia. But most likely, Cleveland was one of those. But LeBron definitely didn't create the super team. He cannot deny being a part of a super team, though. Now, if LeBron James ever tried to step into the arena and say he was never a part of a super team,
how dare you fill my head with such loathsome propaganda?
Don't lie, LeBron. You were a part of a super team. You're kind of a part of one now, too, in a lot of respects. I think any time that you have to look at the supporting cast as less than the stars in a lot of ways, and I don't mean just a couple of the guys. I mean, you get down about after the top 3, then you start getting some fill-ins here and there. Maybe you got a good 4th one like Tristan Thompson, but then you're running anybody you can out to be that 5th man, and your bench is terrible and old and veteran. Not really worth playing a whole lot. You're trying to rotate between 7, 8 guys. You're probably on a super team. The teams that aren't super teams, they can rotate through that bench. They can go 12 deep. They might not be great. They can go 12 deep. 803-978-1832. That's one of the things you're going to begin to see, I believe, out in Oakland with the Golden State Warriors because of the sheer money game that's going to take place with the guys at the top of that franchise. At some point, the supporting cast is going to be awful. It's just not going to be good. I mean, you got a guy like Andre Iguodala there this year that comes off the bench. He's really good. That's going away. McGee's not great, but he's pretty serviceable in terms of being a big man. Block shots, rebounds, can affect things defensively. You're not going to be able to have guys with that kind of price tag. But that's where the NBA is now. You've got teams who buy into that mentality, and you've got other teams that share the wealth. I mean, you look at a team in a situation like the Utah Jazz. I mean, Utah's done an incredible job of that for years. just being a good team with a lot of really good players. If you go back far enough, you're going to find Karl Malone and John Stockton and Hornacek and all those guys. But for the most part, they've kind of avoided, or maybe it's been the big stars kind of avoided being in Utah, but Utah just knows they've got to do it a little bit differently. You kind of feel like Oklahoma City's eventually going to fall into that same scenario where they're going to have to do it a little bit differently. Milwaukee hadn't been able to manage it. If you're not a big market, it's hard. It's hard to bring in the biggest talent in the league. These guys want to play in Los Angeles. They want to play in New York, Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, San Francisco. I mean, Cleveland's in a rare situation, but the only reason they're really in that situation is because of LeBron James. LeBron James makes your team instantly viable. Terrence Oglesby, top of the hour. Stay with us.
Attention, anyone who's suffering from lower back pain. Right now, HealthSource is offering our listeners an absolutely free back pain consultation on a first-come, first-served basis by calling 803-218-9047. Our doctors can find the root cause of your lower back pain and show you how to get well fast and stay well longer. No more pain. No more feeling worn out. Essentially, no more not feeling like yourself. Call 803-218-9047.
Stars and Stripes Sports is a leader in the sports athlete development market, offering innovative health, fitness, training, and player development solutions for players and coaches of all levels of youth sports. Stars and Stripes Sports is looking to add at least 2 people per state to start their own business for sports testing and to market these events locally. We want people to start their programs in early 2017, starting with spring training. Many high-quality athletes fail to reach their potential. Call Chris today, 704-737-9970. Or email Chris Carlson at starsandstripesports.com.
Hi, my name is Donald Kidwell, current owner of CrossFit Iron Mary's. After finding CrossFit in 2012, I lost 128 pounds. At CrossFit Iron Mary's, you're not a barcode, you're an actual person. Where you are now is not important. Where you want to be is. 3 locations to reach your fitness goals in Columbia: the Old Mill in Lexington, Trotter Road in West Columbia, and downtown near the Carolina Baseball Stadium. Check us out online at CrossFitIronMarys.com or give us a call at 803-414-9601. Set up your first set of free classes today at CrossFit Iron Mary's, 803-414-9601.
Business owners, have you had to let your last couple of sales hires go because they were not making quota year one? Want to add high-quality staff members? ProRecruits.net is the answer. Here's why. ProRecruits.net will guarantee their sales hires for 6 months, or they will replace them for free. ProRecruits.net has lower pricing compared to the typical new hire contingency fees in the industry. ProRecruits.net offers a tremendous value for your recruiting dollars. Call 704-737-9970 and let ProRecruits.net help your business grow.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
O'Reilly. If your paint job is looking less than new, bring back that showroom shine with Formula One Wash and Wax, Paste Wax, or Scratch Out, on sale now for $2.99 each at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Keep your vehicle looking new with Formula One Auto Care products, $2.99 each at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With so many music apps out there, ever wonder which one is the best? It's iHeartRadio. Not because we say so, because you do.
iHeartRadio!
iHeartRadio is the #1 rated music app in America. It's the only one with live radio, artist stations, and an unlimited selection of music. All in one app. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download the free iHeartRadio app or listen at iHeartRadio.com.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400. WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports trending now.
Get things teed up in the second round of the U.S. Open, and we got a new leader right now.
We have a new leader. Through 7 holes, Brooks Koepka, after a 67 in his opening round, has moved to 9 under. Just 4 under on the day. What a start.
And all the fun is on FS1. Meanwhile, Ricky Fowler has fallen back. Yesterday, he was -7 for the day. Today, he was as high as 9 under par, and all of a sudden, a couple bogeys, and he now is 6 under par through 1.5 rounds. Switching gears now to Major League Baseball, Tigers have placed Victor Martinez on the 10-day DL after he was hospitalized and diagnosed with an irregular heartbeat. Nationals have signed Edwin Jackson to a minor league deal and assigned him to AAA. I'm David Gascon.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set, just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's prime time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Lawton Swan hanging out with you again. ClemsonSportsTalk.com is the website, broadcasting the show live as well over on YouTube, so you can get a sneak peek here behind the curtain and see what we've got going on. And, man, a lot of people are excited about our next guest, of course, former Clemson Tiger basketball player, the Tennessee Rifleman's, what I like to call him, thanks to my good friend Tim Brando. He is Terrence Oglesby. Terrence, welcome in, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to get back on the radio a little bit. It's been a while.
Listen, I got to tell you, man, your story is so interesting. There's just so many nuances of this thing. I look at my segment, and I'm like, all right, I got 20 minutes with the guy. We could probably talk an hour about his time at Clemson and leaving Tiger Town. But first off, let's just begin with you catching everybody up with Terrence Oglesby. Where have you been? How have you been doing? What's going on in your life?
You know what? I just got married. What was it, last summer? And we had my wife and I. We have 2 beautiful kids, and you know, it's life's been going really well for us. One that's 1 year old, and one that just turned a month the other day. So life's good as far as playing. I've been all over Europe. You name a country, I've probably been there twice. Italy, Spain, Ukraine, Sweden. It's been a heck of a ride. You know, I'm sure we'll get to this, but I think. You know, the information I got when I was at Clemson was a little bit different than what actually happened, and that's okay. But, you know, my life's been good. It's been good, and we're actually in the process of moving back to Tiger Town.
I know everybody will be anxious to get to see you around there again, and I think you when you left, it sort of resonated with Clemson Tiger basketball because this was at the time where this team, you guys were really, I think, on the brink of something special. And I looked at the roster just a few minutes ago of that 2009-2010 team, and I thought, man, if Terrence had been a part of that, maybe that team would have been a little bit more successful, and maybe Clemson basketball as a whole would be in a different spot today. But when you go back and think about that decision to leave the program a couple of years early, you know, kind of what goes through your mind when you look back on that moment?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for completely throwing me under the bus there. No,
right.
you know, looking back at it, you know, that was a good team, man. You know, I look back at the roster. You know, Trevor obviously has turned out to be a great player. They had great players with DeMontes. You know, obviously what happened to him is terrible. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
You know, Dre Grant, different guys that I came in with. We could have really had a good team, and you know, I look back and I'm not going to say I regret it because a lot of good things have happened to me since then. You know, for example, my wife and kids. My wife's Swedish. I met her over there. But, you know, you look back and you always want to say what if. But at the same time, you know, it happened for a reason. You know, Oliver Brownell, he did a fantastic job. They still made it to the tournament the following year. And then when Coach Brownell moved in, you know, he's done a fantastic job of, you know, X's and O's and coaching. And I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, how it's going to go now that the new stadium's built. Maybe we can, you know, get some guys to come in and really, you know, pick up the pace. I feel like they have good players now.
So in terms of returning to Clemson, of course, you mentioned your wife from Sweden, and you actually hold dual citizenship with the United States and Norway. So spending some time over in Europe wasn't exactly unfamiliar for you, I guess, being a guy from Tennessee with your father having played overseas when he was younger. But nonetheless, you're coming back to Tigertown. Are your plans to be involved with the program in any way right now, or is coaching something that you want to do down the road? Where are you in terms of that respect?
I do want to coach.
You sound like a coach. You sound like a coach. I'm telling you.
I probably have enough BS in my DNA to be able to keep it moving like a coach. But I actually, funny story. Last week, I just walked in to the office. Coach Luke McKay. They found out I was on campus because I'm taking classes to finish my undergrad, and I actually just walked into the one of their workouts with a couple of their guys. And I just walked up and I said, anything you would like for me to do, or if I could help, I would be honored to do that. To be a volunteer, because having to finish my undergrad, Clemson's got some great things in place for former athletes who want to finish up. I would love to coach. That's kind of the thing I want to do growing up. I have offers to go back to Europe this year, but with two small kids and a wife, I pretty much got all I could get out of it over there. So, I would like to move on. I'd like to help kids, and I would really like to help Clemson if they would have me. If not, I understand. But I feel like I could help in a couple of different areas if they would have me. If not, that's okay too. I'll still be a huge fan in the background.
Terrence Oglesby here on Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter. He's at THATOTO22. And Terrence, I think about how you could help Clemson. I don't know that we've seen a shooter come through there, and I've been around the program a long time. I don't know that I've ever seen a shooter come through there that had the range that you had. At what point in your life did you kind of recognize, man, I'm pretty good at shooting from downtown?
I would say eighth grade. Eighth grade's probably the first time that I just started. If I saw daylight, it was going up. Every coach since then that I've played for has tried to temper it a little bit. To little or no success, but
right.
The funny thing is they ended up enjoying it. It's like, no, then it goes in, and guys are happy. But it's something I worked on. My work ethic was, it's 10 years ago. My work ethic then and even now is what I took pride in, and what I still take pride in. So, I mean, it didn't come out of nowhere, but at the same time, it took a certain kind of confidence, I guess you would say.
I got to ask you this, because I've got a son who is about to be 8, and he's slow. I mean, he's getting into basketball a little bit more. He's getting, it's amazing how your kids kind of transition through life and their interests change so quickly. As a guy who is arguably one of the greatest shooters to come through Clemson, what's the key thing you'd say to those dads because I'm always trying to correct him. All right, son, get your elbow, I'm trying to work with him. When do you need to start doing that stuff for all the dads listening?
Man, you know what? I get this question all the time, around here locally when I do camps and whatnot. The big thing that I'm really thankful for with my father when he was bringing me up and he was teaching me how to shoot, especially around that 7, 8, 9, he wouldn't let me shoot threes at all. It was all within 10 to 12 feet. Just to make sure the form was correct. And as kids get bigger and they get stronger, then it's easier for them to maintain that form and kind of lengthen the distance a little bit. But I think if you're able to create that base for a player to be able to get the correct form down and to be able to get the initial things down, then later on the minor tweaks are easier to make. But if you just get a basic foundation and not have kids trying to shoot from three and hoisting it from their hips, I think it's difficult to correct a lot of those things.
Terrence, when you watch the NBA and you see a guy like Steph Curry kind of have that free range to be able to shoot from wherever he wants, how much do you look at what he's doing and either A, salivate at thinking, man, I wish somebody would let me shoot the ball that way, or B, how much do you look at him like the casual former basketball players such as myself look at it and go, man, what it must be like? I mean, do you look at some of the things he does the same way the rest of us normal three-point shooters look at the things he does?
Well, some of the things that Steph Curry does. I mean, as far as off the dribble and weaving and dribbling through traffic and then pulling up from 45, it's ridiculous. I mean, nobody's ever done anything like that. It's to me, I enjoy that. In particular, I enjoy when he takes a fast break three and Kevin Durant has a dunk. I think that's,
I saw some of that in the finals. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It just took so much fortitude. I'm gonna leave
onions. I think.
out.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It took some serious onions to do that, and you probably have the second best player in the world for a dunk. No, I enjoy it. Sometimes, I talk to my buddies and I think, if I was an inch or two taller and I would have played today as opposed to 10 years ago, where the game was transitioning a little bit to where it was all this spread it out, shoot it, and all that stuff. If I would have played now as opposed to then, I think I would have had maybe a better shot. But I know, Steph Curry's what, 6'3", 6'4"? I mean, That's a big guy. He looks small on TV because everybody else is massive. I'm 6'2" with T-Rex arms. I capitalized as much as I could. I feel like, I played in the D League for a year, and it was just a tough fit. And a lot of that stuff is out of my control. But do I think it would be a lot of fun to play like Steph Curry and just feel like, no matter what shot I take, I'm not going to get taken out, man. The ultimate forgiveness. That would be something I haven't had since high school. And my high school coach didn't want to give it to me, but he kind of had to.
We're talking with Terrence Oglesby here on Clemson Sports Talk. Terrence, I got to tell you, you and Curry are the same age, and I always joke. I always think about, man, Clemson didn't even recruit the guy. Nobody was even looking at the kid. Could have been you and Curry there in the backcourt in Tiger Town. That would have gone over all right for me.
That would have been okay, but if he was there, I probably wouldn't have been at Clemson.
You may have played 4 years at Clemson.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. So you looked, and you mentioned this earlier about the situation leaving Clemson early, and I think for a lot of people it was a real shock to have you go after your sophomore year, and you basically insinuated earlier that you had gotten some bad information. What exactly did you think was going to happen? I mean, was the conversation this is going to be an NBA move for you?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. To me, it was something like I was going to go to Europe. I was going to learn the point guard position more. I was going to run the pick and roll a lot more. And hopefully in 2 years I could come back and grab a backup spot. I was pretty realistic when it came to that.
Sure.
Did I get some bad information? Sure. Would I have had a better chance at staying if I stayed at Clemson? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's completely up in the air. I enjoyed my 2 years at Clemson, though, that's for sure. But, ultimately, my thing is, when I was leaving, your body will wear out. You can always go back to school. That was my overwhelming. That was kind of the bottom line for me. Was it an NBA move? Sure, all that stuff. Do I regret leaving? There is some regret on the basketball side, but then again, like I said earlier, being able to meet my wife and start a family with her. To me, that's kind of the thing that when I look back, I'm like, you know what? If I would have stayed, this would have never happened. So I'm okay with it. Have I had a lot of sleepless nights going back? 8 years. It's 8 years since then. Yeah, I have. I've had some times where I think back and I'm like, man, I'll see a top 25 players all time at Clemson, and my buddy DeMontes is on there, and Trevor's on there, and the great Casey Rivers is on there. And I feel like if I'd have stayed 4 years, I would have had an outside shot at being on there.
Sure.
So, do I get jealous a little bit? Sure. Do I regret it a little bit? Sure. But in the end, it worked out for the best. It works out the way it's supposed to work out. It always does.
Do you ever worry?
However, there are sleepless nights.
Yeah. Do you ever worry that people thought it was a selfish move, like Clemson Tiger fans? Does that ever bother you?
I've never been asked that question. Let me.
Because that's certainly the conversation that goes on when.
Absolutely, understandable.
Because I think people look at you, they go, "Well, he's 6'2", 190 pounds. He's not going to make it to the NBA. What's he thinking?" And then the other thing that people think about and talk about is, were there problems? Is there a reason he left? You know what I mean? Two fronts.
Let me clarify. Let me just clarify that second part. There were no problems. Oliver Purnell was kind of a hands-off guy, but I had a great relationship with Ron Bradley, who was the head assistant. I had a great relationship with Josh Pastorino, all the assistants. There were no issues there. DeMontes Stitt, who was who I considered a good friend, and Jonah Bays, who was my roommate while I was there. Me and Jonah talked, what was it, last week?
Yeah.
And DeMontez I had run into in Europe. There were no problems there. I mean, was it a selfish move? You know what? I haven't really thought of it from the other side, but I guess, there could be a case made for that. I guess it was. But, looking back, if I would have could do things differently as far as that, I'm just going to have to say no because, as much as I loved Clemson, I still got a family out of it. So it's a selfish move maybe, but in the end, it all worked out.
Well, you got to make. I mean, listen, you got to make the move. I agree with you. You got to make the move that you think is right. But that conversation was out there, and that's why I wanted to, let you just touch on that subject. It's not a fun one to talk about because you got people rooting for you to hit every shot you make one day, and then you leave, and they go, well, what Benedict Arnold? You walked out on us just when we were building, and I mean, those are real conversations that Tiger fans had. And you talked about being in that top 25, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of people looked at your career and thought, man, this guy's going to go down as the greatest shooter in the history of Clemson Tiger basketball. We're talking with Terrence Oglesby here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight. And, Terrence, I also do want to just get into, I guess, some of the things that I've seen. I watched some of the videos of you playing overseas. What's up with the basketball goals that shoot fire when guys hit three-pointers?
And I get a lot of credit. That was when I was in Sweden. And that was a team that was kind of in the process of building, and they had a lot of theatrics and everything like that. It was a lot of fun, and they had a pretty innovative owner, and he was trying to try anything he could to get to fill up seats, and he did a pretty good job because we started to sell out quite a few games. But that's the only place I've seen that. Let's put it that way.
Well, and I thought to myself when I saw it, I'm going to be honest with you, I said, hold up a second. Clemson just renovated. Maybe this is something that we should consider bringing into. You talk about building the program. We ought to do it when they hit a free throw, though, the way we shoot free throws sometimes in Tiger Town.
We'll get that changed.
All right, I got to ask you this, too. What are the odds that you and Amy Guerin, who I would argue is the best three-point women's shooter in the history of Clemson, both hail from Cleveland, Tennessee? Did you know that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know. We went to the same high school. Amy's actually coaching a high school in town, not the one we went to, but I think she's coaching at Cleveland High School. And she's got all kinds of family running around. I run into them quite frequently. Not Amy, but parts of her family.
I think I still owe her an elbow from the time she caught me in fight. Man, those girls that played back then, the two teams that won the ACC title when I was in college at Clemson, it was no joke.
Mm.
It was her and the Toro Umo Coleman. It was serious business, man.
Yeah, women's basketball, serious business. A lot of elbows and man, a lot of strong women at that level. That's for sure.
When you look around now and you get a chance to see the new facilities, I know you talked about how you think that some of those things are going to help Clemson. Just in terms of the dedication to the basketball program, do you think Clemson, as a former player, is doing enough, or does there need to still be more done on that front?
Let me just start by saying this. I haven't been back enough, and whenever Clemson plays, when I'm overseas, we're 6-7 hours ahead, so I have a hard time being able to watch the games live and everything. But in order to put up that practice facility, that's the only thing I've seen thus far, and I saw the coaches' offices, and it was really quite impressive. It wasn't anything compared to that football complex. That football complex is unbelievable, but the basketball, I thought it was great. I mean, Clemson's got such a the thing I like about Clemson is that it's got such a community feel when all the students are in and everybody can get there quickly, and Clemson fans are passionate, and that's one of the reasons why I was getting so many hateful emails when I left. But it's also the reason that they fill up the gym so quickly. That I don't know enough about that subject in order to make a comment because I haven't been back enough. But it seems like you put up you completely renovate Littlejohn, you put in a completely new basketball facility, brand new weight room, which I thought was just amazing when I walked in there. Obviously, there is some strong support there.
Sure. Terrence Oglesby. Terrence, man, appreciate your time. Hang on the line real quick. I'll talk to you off the air.
All right, sounds good.
There you go. Follow Terrence on Twitter at ThatOtherTO22. 803-978-1832. If you missed any of that interview, we've got the podcast edition coming up just after the show ends this evening.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Brakes for less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. If there's a squeal in your wheel, come see the best. 254 Stop.
Brakes for less.
You're on Pit Stop Radio, and here's what real customers have to say about their pit stop.
I like Miller Lite beer, and they have Miller Lite 12 packs for $9.99. So when I come in a pit stop, everyone's so nice. Don't stop to your pit stop.
The Midland's Ultimate Summer Camp Guide, brought to you by the YMCA, is here. Log on to foxsportsradio1400.com now and search camp. For a summer they won't forget, go to foxsportsradio1400.com now to see the Midland's Ultimate Summer Camp Guide, brought to you by the YMCA.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
Before you lies a beautiful meadow. In that meadow, Progressive Direct has placed its auto insurance rates alongside those of competitors. You select the lowest rate and feel a great sense of calm. A great sense of...
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates so you can rest easy. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
803-978-1832 is the number. 803-978-1832. Terrence Oglesby just on the program here. Clemson Sports Talk on Fox Sports Radio 1400, also on the iHeart Radio app. Man, that was fun. That was fun. I could probably talk to him all day just to get the vibe about being a former shooter there at Clemson. And when that guy was hot, good gracious, you can go to, I think it was the Maryland game where he hit one to win it at the buzzer. The form, just so good, so talented. I didn't even get a chance to ask him about the missed dunk against Duke, which I know is something that he probably hears a lot of from Clemson Tiger fans that still watch some of his highlights. And Clemson is blowing Duke out now when he goes for the two-hand jam, misses the ball, or misses the dunk, and the camera pans to Oliver Purnell. Oh, that was beautiful. Out to the phone lines we go here on Clemson Sports Talk tonight. Caller, welcome in. What's on your mind?
Great interview.
Hey, thank you.
Yes, sir. I got a story, has nothing to do with sports. It's real life. Got robbed at gunpoint today. How many minutes you got for me to tell you my story?
Are you serious?
I got my hand on the Bible. Yeah, hey.
Well, I'm listening. I'm glad you're all right.
I'm a straight shooter.
Say that again.
I'm a straight shooter. I don't embellish nothing.
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't. I'm glad you're all right. Then.
Sir?
I said, I'm glad you're all right.
Oh, this cat. Oh, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Don't get me. But anyway, you want to hear, how many minutes can I have?
Well, how many do you need? I can give you.
It's going to take about 5 minutes.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, maybe 3. I'll try to shorten it up. Do you want to? I need to know if you want to hear the story first.
This is about you being robbed, is what you're telling me.
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir.
Okay, well,
and you do know who you're talking to, and you might, if you let me tell you the story, you might come up with a new nickname for me.
Okay, all right. Well, go ahead. Let's hear what you got. Now I'll let you know. I'll let you know if I think we need to stop.
All right, that's fine. Fair enough. I leave my back door open in the morning. You know, my bobcat's got to go out. He's got a little door, and I lock my screen door. This morning, I hear bam, and I know it's not Bobcat. He's out in the woods. This dude meets me in my hallway, and I'm looking down a barrel of a .45.
Okay.
Back up into my bedroom. The man says, give me all your give me your dope and your cash. I said, bro, no dope in the house, but here's my wallet. Ain't no cash in there. Handed him my wallet. He saw there's no cash. He threw it on the ground. He said, I tell you what, bro, I ain't got no dope, but I got some Valium over here. The daughter, I got about 10 of them. Here you go, fella. Handed him the Valium. Then he said, give me one of them cell phones you got. I said, here you go. It's one of them government phones. I'll get another one. He threw that on the ground. Then he said, get on your knees. I said, I only get on my knees for Jesus Christ, buddy. And then I tapped that gun, and it shook. The slide was loose where you cock it.
Yeah.
And I said, I stuck my tongue out at him. I said, that gun don't even work. I said, and by the way, if it did work, you ain't got enough guts to pull the trigger. And I put my tongue in his face, and I said, get out of here. And I chased him out of my house.
Now, that's a story.
It's a true story.
Wow.
And Bobcat, he better be glad Bobcat wasn't in my house, because I wouldn't have had to do anything.
Yeah.
I would not. I could have sat here and watched Bobcat chew him up.
I hear you, man. Well, look, I'm glad you're all right.
Bobcat would have ripped his jugular vein wide open.
Wow. That's an incredible story, brother. Wow. Well,
Hey,
listen,
what's my
again,
new nickname?
I'm glad. Your nickname?
My new one. You got a new one yet?
I don't know what it is, but you sound like one of the baddest dudes I know.
Well, the cop said, he says, that sounds like some Hollywood. I said, no, forget about that, buddy. It was all real.
Hollywood. I might have to call you Hollywood. We used to have a caller named Hollywood back in the day.
He also said, you ain't got to worry about that fella coming back to your house. I really don't think so.
Well,
I said, I know, because he was scarier than I was.
I hear you. Hey, man, I appreciate it. That's a crazy story, but more importantly, I'm glad you're all right, dude. Be careful. Be careful out there. That's insane. I didn't know where. I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't know where that was going. I didn't know where it was going, but I'm glad it had a good ending. 803-978-1832 is the number. Appreciate Terrence Oglesby again for joining us a few minutes ago. As I mentioned before, the podcast of that interview will be up after the program comes to an end. So we'll make sure we get that up and podcasted. I see at CU Tiger Craig, Clemson Craig, out on social media rocking his champions shirt. Went over there and saw him today at South Lake Drug. Champion with the 16 on there. It is. He says it makes anyone look good. You're right. That shirt's making the picture. That shirt's making the picture. And again, we want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of the program. And man, that was a heck of a story. I'm going to tell you, I got nervous. I didn't know where that story was going. I got nervous. I mean, I felt myself kind of tensing up. But I am glad that Double O there is all right. That's what's important. The ACC football kickoff coming up in Charlotte on the 14th. Excuse me, July the 13th for the Atlantic Division, July the 14th for the Coastal Division. And if you think that college football season is a long way off, well, get this. We're just over 1 month away from the Clemson Media Golf Tournament at the Reserve. A chance to talk to all the assistant coaches, get prepared for the college football season. And then the first day of practice, August the 4th. So as incredible as it sounds, it's coming. I mean, it is going to be here, ladies and gentlemen. The college football season, before you know it, I guarantee you, August 4th, the first day of practice. And you know how those practice weeks go. They fly by. You guys can't get enough information. There's so many news stories coming out of camp. Yeah, it'll make your head spin. And so here we sit in the middle of June, feeling like it's a long way off, but it'll be here before you know it. And, again, that's just another indication. Again, the Atlantic Coast Conference football kickoff the 13th of July for the Atlantic Division, the 14th of July for the Coastal Division, and then July the 18th, Clemson's media golf outing, and August the 4th, they begin practicing up in Tigertown. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. We got another caller here on the show that shakes the Southland. We'll send it over to the phone lines again. Caller, welcome in.
Good on, Clemson. O-line.
O-line, I'm good. What's up?
Hey, big arms there, man. Hey, there was a movie that Paul Newman played in. It was called Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
We might want to start calling Big Orange Cool Tongue Luke.
Cool tongue. Yeah.
And tell your boy Rob Sanders I'll bet him a case of my favorite against a case of his favorite that Gamecocks win that NC State game straight up.
I will let him know. I'll let him know, and I know you're good for it. Listen, he may not only take a case of whatever you like straight up or what he likes straight up, but I know you got the fantastic recipes there as well for the dessert items he may be interested in also.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a pound cake, Italian cream cheesecake, whatever.
Listen,
if
when
you think it up, I'll put it on I'll put it
O-line, when are we going to have you in studio with a cooking segment here on Clemson Sports Talk? That's what I think we need, a baking segment.
Well, you know, I can skin a deer. I can clean catfish. I mean, I can do it all. But, you know, some of these ladies might wrap me up with the terminologies. You know, there's terminologies in cooking, like cook it until it threads. And people have no idea what the heck that means.
Yeah. You know what, O-line? I don't know what the heck that means either. And that's why we're going to eventually have a cooking over the fence. That's what we'll call it. We're cooking over the fence with O-line hanging out with us. 803-978-1832. Clemson Sports Talk and the College Sports Corner back in 3.
When summer is sizzling hot, you need something cool to hit the spot. Stop by your local Circle K, where a 69-cent Polar Pop cup will save the day. Fill up and cool down with the coolest drink in town. That's the 69-cent any size Polar Pop cup, only at Circle K. And while you're there, download the Circle K mobile app. Join us on our mobile app for notifications on great limited time deals. Stop in and see us today. At Circle K, take it easy.
When you have a need for a plumber, you need it fast and you need it done right. If you're dealing with busted pipes, maybe you need your toilet repaired or you're battling a clogged drain, break free from average service and experience the best with Freedom Plumbing. Call James Carwell and the staff at Freedom Plumbing to get the job done fast, on time, and most importantly, right the first time. Freedom Plumbing, your local 24-hour plumber. Call 803-447-0471 or online at freedom-plumbing.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Experience not only our pools, hot tubs, and lazy river, but also our delicious on-site banana boat lounge and cafe, family game room, fitness center, banquet facilities, and much more. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Tonight, the scattered storms will die off and the lows will drop to around 70 degrees. Tomorrow, again, low 90s for highs. It'll be sticky with some scattered late storms. For Channel 25, ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by Midland Air Service Experts.
At Midland Air Service Experts, save $55 off an AC Precision tune-up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit midlandair.com. For expert service guaranteed,
call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
Oh, yeah, there it is. When it's cold outside, you got Clemson Sports Talk. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Again, Terrence Oglesby on the program just a few minutes ago. Lots of fun talking with him. The Tennessee Rifleman, as our good friend Tim Brando labeled him. Some news out of Tiger Town earlier today. Clemson offers Cameron Kelly, a defensive back, 4-star prospect out of Chesapeake, Virginia, Oscar Smith High School. He said he's honored and grateful beyond measure to receive an offer from the Clemson University. I like that, by the way. I like that. Going with the Ohio State deal, I guess you'd say. I like it. Didn't mean to be playing the bumper music there under my conversation, but nonetheless, I guess the rest of you may have enjoyed that. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. If you want to be a part of the program, we'd love to have you hang out and chat with us. We have a website refresh coming in the next few weeks. I think you're really going to like some of the things that we're doing over there, and you can watch the show on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. The Clemson Tigers also made an offer today to Jaquez Sorrells, defensive end out of Largo, Florida, 6'3", 260-pound defensive end prospect from the 2019 class. He is a Florida defensive line commit already, and of course with Dabo Swinney's camps having been underway up in Clemson, lots of news coming out in terms of offers. Clemson also offers, and boy, this one's tough for me, 5-star defensive tackle Fatui Tuitele, 6'3", 285-pound defensive tackle out of Honolulu, Hawaii, in the 2019 class. He is a 5-star defensive tackle prospect. He tweeted out, "I serve an awesome Lord. Absolutely blessed to have received my 16th offer from the national champs, Clemson. Hashtag all in." He holds offers from Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Oregon, Stanford, Syracuse, Southern Cal, Vanderbilt, Washington, and others. So the Clemson Tigers, again, Fatui Tuitele, I think is how you pronounce his name. If he does end up deciding he wants to play college football at Clemson, I can assure you that'll be a name that is in the media guide. But it's a good name. It looks like the name, I got to admit, I think because of the Fatu reference there, it makes me think of the old wrestler from the Islanders, and also I believe ended up becoming, tag team with the Barbarian. Ming, I think was his name. Fatui Tuitele. Again, Clemson offering the 5-star defensive tackle. And 5 stars, by the way, according to 247. So some more news there in terms of the recruiting trail for the Clemson Tigers. And, of course, the upcoming recruiting class in 2018. So those names that we just mentioned to you, all guys not in this cycle, but in the following recruiting cycle. So next year's recruiting cycle. So not the upcoming, but another year out. So a little bit more time for those guys to develop. In terms of trap games, I know a couple of days ago here on Clemson Sports Talk, and we're going to roll the College Sports Corner over to the final segment of the show this evening. But a couple of days ago, we had Zach Lentz from the Orangeburg Times, a Democrat, in studio, and Zach had put together a ranking of Clemson's toughest games, from the hardest game to the easiest game heading into the college football season. And one of those matchups that we kind of debated back and forth off the air about was Virginia Tech and potentially NC State maybe being a couple of opportunities for Clemson to maybe get caught up in what could be known as a trap game. And, of course, when you look at this Virginia Tech team in 2017, obviously we mentioned the loss of Gerard Evans the other day at quarterback, but they are a team right now that if you're not careful, when you're the Clemson Tigers, if you're not careful, you begin the season with a matchup against Kent State, but then you get into Auburn and Louisville back-to-back. You've got a little bit of a breather there. You would believe, with Boston College at home and Wake Forest at home. But in between that is a road trip to Virginia Tech, a road trip to a place that is relatively hostile, a road trip to a place that typically has had in the past what I would label unfriendly confines to those that venture in. And that was the game that was listed as a trap team and opponent for the Clemson Tigers. Sporting News calling it the trap game for Clemson. They say it's tough to call an ACC championship game rematch a trap game, but it comes up after back-to-back games against Auburn and Louisville earlier in the month, and it's a long first month for the defending Tigers. Now, you would believe, because it is sandwiched around a couple of what I think many people would label winnable games, that it's not the ultimate trap game on the schedule, and the ultimate trap game is a road game at NC State on November the 4th, the week prior to Clemson facing Florida State. And that's the one where I would tend to lean a little bit. But Sporting News says, look, early on in the season, big matchups around it. Not necessarily bookended by big matchups, but definitely not being the most talked about game there in the month of September. I mean, when you look at Clemson, the 5 games in September to kick things off, starting on the 2nd against Kent State and ending on the 30th against Virginia Tech on the road, you face Virginia Tech, you face Louisville and Auburn, all right there in the first 5 games of the season, and really in the first month of the year. If you get through that month unscathed, Clemson Tiger Nation, if you come out of that month 5-0, and you're looking ahead to a schedule that features Wake Forest at Syracuse, Georgia Tech at NC State, Florida State, the Citadel, and at South Carolina, when you flip that calendar to October 1, if Clemson is sitting there undefeated at 5-0, all of a sudden, the things that we've talked about here on the program since January, the possibility of getting back to the college football playoff, the things we talked about here yesterday in our conversations about what happens with the winner and the loser coming out of that Florida State-Alabama matchup to open up the season. Are you kidding me? If you're 5-0 when you're flipping that calendar over to October, ladies and gentlemen, look out. Another special year on the horizon. And I'm not even sure that you've got to win the ACC at that point to still make the college football playoff. It will absolutely depend on what's going on in the other Power 5 conferences. But at that point, the odds that you stump your toe against Wake, Syracuse, Georgia Tech, the Citadel, and I would say even South Carolina, probably fairly slim. That NC State game becomes that trap game, in my opinion, for you. And then on the flip side of that, that Florida State game will be another epic matchup between these two teams, but it's in Tiger Town. Guys, it's not so far-fetched to believe. And I'm not trying to build you up, but if you get through October undefeated, Tiger fans, get ready. Another great run looms. If not, if you stump your toes a couple of times, could be a disappointing 3-4 loss year for the Clemson Tiger fans. Stay with us.
Brakes for less is what we do. We know drums, rotors, pads, and shoes. If there's a squeal in your wheel, come see the best. 254 stop.
Brakes for less.
Columbia Office Furniture is the destination for quality new or used office furniture. Preview thousands of new quick ship desks, chairs, workstations, file cabinets, bookcases, conference room furniture, and more at cofsc.com. Then visit our 12,000 square foot showroom at 301 Greystone Boulevard to see, sit in, touch, and feel actual samples before you buy, or browse our huge selection of quality used office furniture. And we offer layout and design services as well as installation. Visit cofsc.com today. Columbia Office Furniture. We furnish solutions.
Your pet deserves high-quality health care. Your pet deserves the friendly, professional doctors and courteous staff at Midland's Veterinary Practice. We treat you and your pet like family by listening carefully to your concerns and addressing your pet's long-term healthcare needs. With the use of our latest state-of-the-art technology, like a therapeutic laser, we offer alternatives to drug therapy. At Midland's Veterinary Practice, we care for the most valuable pets, yours. Visit us at midlandsvet.com on Facebook or Twitter, or contact us at 750-7387, 750-PETS.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the Clemson Tigers, winners of the 2017 National Championship game.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Davey D, 23, hanging out with us over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. If you want to learn more, actually, let me change it up because that wouldn't be accurate right now. He's not hanging out with us on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. But if you ever do want to be a part of the chat during the show, the best way to access that is to head over to Twitter. And again, on Twitter, it's at Clemson Sports, just the at symbol and the word Clemson Sports. And then there is a link in my profile that says join the conversation. You click that and it'll take you to the page where we can hang out. He also said that he had some trouble with the YouTube feed, but I could tell you guys were having trouble with YouTube, David E. So I tweaked it. I got it working good, and I think tonight should have gone pretty well. He says it went flawless for him. We got a little live chat going on in a thread over there under the live show hashtag on this new chat function feature thing that we're using. We're going to try it. I kind of like it, actually. I don't know what David E. thinks about it, but right now I think he's the only person over there. But we can get more people in, and I think if we do get more people in, then all of a sudden this can be a place where I can keep up with you guys, and you guys can keep me in check and let me know when I say something completely idiotic, which might be so often that I want to cancel having the chat. But for now, I think this is going to work, and the other thing I like about it is it's mobile friendly. So it's very easy to chat on your iPhone or Android device. Again, you want to find that chat room, go to Clemson, or go on Twitter at Clemson Sports, and then in our profile. And you know what? I'll do you a favor. I'll put a link over on our website too, so you can get to it next week as well. Happy Father's Day weekend to all you dads out there. I'm excited to spend some time, as I mentioned, with the family. I've done a good deal of that here this summer. It's one of the blessings of the multiple jobs that I have, that in the summer I do get some time off to spend with the wife and kids. Sometimes we go to the pool after the show, and As the kids get a little older, that time will become even more valuable to me because they'll be staying up a little bit later than they already do. Although some nights now I'm like, you guys go to bed. And I'll be honest, my daughter can be as sweet as the day is long, and at school she is fantastic. But this is on the record, and this is accurate. There are mornings where when she wakes up and I'm drinking my coffee, she comes downstairs, and I kind of want to go back upstairs to bed. She is what I would label, based on the show she watches or watched when she was a kid called Bubble Guppies, she is a grump fish. That's all I can tell you. You guys, I'm hoping it's just – everybody told me when I had kids about these terrible twos, and somehow the good Lord played a joke on me and my wife, and they gave us a child in our son who has been nearly perfect in terms of behavior his entire life. Rarely do I have to do anything to talk to him, anything. The daughter, though, that the good Lord has blessed me with, she's wearing me out at the age of 4. It was not 2, the terrible 2s. It was not the 3s. 4. I'm trying to work with her on this. She's got a birthday coming up, and I've tried the whole. You said you were going to do this, and you promised you're going to do that. I'm trying to convince her now that it is a 4 thing. That once she turns 5, the behavior is going to be better, and you're going to be a sweet girl in 5, right? I don't know, fellas, ladies that are listening. I don't know at 4, my daughter is something to deal with at home. But as long as she's good at school, I'll live with that. I would not want the reverse. I can tell you that. As a parent, I can assure you I would not want the reverse, which would be being a terror at school and being perfect at home. As much as it is tough on me and the wife, I'd rather us have to deal with it than the teachers. So for that I am thankful. For that I am absolutely thankful. But happy Father's Day weekend to all you dads out there. So many of you probably not getting the credit you deserve. We hear a lot about the dads who don't do what they're supposed to do. But let me send a big shout out to all you dads who are doing what you're supposed to do, whether you're still married to your wife or your spouse or partner or girlfriend or whatever, but you're still there for your kids. Shout out to all you dads. I will say this. Our good buddy, the Real Payzant, the other week on, I believe it maybe had been his Snapchat or his Instagram, I'm not sure, posted a video, and I thought it was going to lead towards, kind of being tough on dads who didn't do the job, but he basically made it a little bit of a satire where it started off and you were thinking he was about to go in and kind of be disappointed in the dads who weren't there for their kids, and he was like, man, got a lot of respect for you guys because this is hard. This is hard work. And they kind of made it a joke, but shout out to all of you dads, man, who are doing it big. Enjoy your Father's Day weekend, and I'm thankful that I have an opportunity to be here and hang out with you guys. Not the ladies, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you. I love the female support of this program, but for all of you guys who grind from 9 to 5, all you guys that grind on the second and third shift, work extra jobs, whatever it is to make sure that your kids are doing and getting a chance to do the things maybe you didn't get a chance to do, shout out to you for the work you do. Without further ado, though, tell you what, you dads looking for a good Father's Day deal, I guarantee you, Ferry Chevrolet Cadillacs got them down in Orangeburg.
Clemson Sports Talk presents the College Sports Corner, brought to you by Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. Just a short drive down I-26 at exit 145A in Orangeburg. Now, CST reporter Lawton Swan.
Well, Johnny, it'll have to be a little bit of an abbreviated edition of the College Sports Corner, but I am thankful for you as well, Johnny, because I know that you are a dad. So happy Father's Day to Johnny, who brings us the intros there into the College Sports Corner each and every evening. LSU has blocked Willie Allen, former football player, from transferring to TCU. They will not allow him to transfer to TCU. That's according to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. An LSU appeals committee ruled on Thursday that Allen could not go to TCU or any school in the SEC. SEC country Sam Spiegelman previously reported that TCU was Allen's most likely destination when the lineman announced his decision to transfer in June 4th. So, for whatever reason, LSU decided to ban him from going to TCU. Both TCU and LSU recruited Allen when he was a four-star prospect at New Orleans John Curtis High School back in 2016. He was also they were also the young man's second choice. I don't like that. I don't mind if they want to block him from going in conference, but I do mind it when I see them blocking him from going somewhere out of conference. Those two teams, maybe they're scheduled to face each other at some point. That could be it. I'd have to look a year ahead because it's not like he's going to play this year. I don't know. I don't have time to look for that. I got to get through the rest of the College Sports Corner briefly. But I mentioned this earlier. Jim McElwain, but also Florida's coach Mike White of the basketball team, both received one-year contract extensions down in Gainesville. Jim McElwain's team has won the SEC East Division the past 2 years. He received a one-year extension through 2022 with a raise of just under $200,000, making his total annual compensation $4.48 million. And again, that did not include any annual fishing trips. I don't know how many of you saw that photo that people thought was Jim McElwain, a good little rib that took place, I guess, about a month or so ago. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, Clemson Larry, welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining us. That is time to get out of here. Happy Father's Day weekend to all of you. As always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Line Shopping Center, 399-7701 or southlakedrug.com.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it Quality Confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's Quality Confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Progressive presents Mindflowness with Flow.
Before you lies a beautiful meadow. In that meadow, Progressive Direct has placed its auto insurance rates alongside those of competitors. You select the lowest rate and feel a great sense of calm. A great sense of...
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates so you can rest easy. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400. WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app.
Fox Sports